How do we meet the world as love when I feel fear, when I feel rage, when I am heartbroken, when I feel grief, when I see injustice, when I hear lies, when I am confused, when the very ground of reality is shaking? How do I meet the world as love then? Because when we feel something intense, when our hearts are broken, when the very fabric of our preconceived notions of reality are shaken, the primary unconscious knee-jerk reaction is to reject that feeling and to believe that if I am love or if I am loving, I wouldn't be feeling confusion. I wouldn't be feeling sadness. I wouldn't be feeling desolation or despair or powerlessness or helplessness. Because love, if I was love, if I am love, then I would be a loving person. And a loving person is, yeah, and that's where our cherished notions of what it means to be a loving person comes in. That's what we need to examine. That's what we need to be ruthlessly honest with in ourselves. What am I coloring? What am I overlaying onto my perception of myself, of love, of the world? Because love is not a thing that we add to ourselves. It's not a commodity that we can go out and learn, purchase, add it onto our personhood. You don't get it from a workshop. Neither is it something that you add to yourself when you've achieved a certain level of attainment or skill or proficiency in any spiritual practice. It's the undoing. Yeah, it's the undoing of all ideas, of all conceptions. In order to meet the world, in order to meet life, in order to meet reality, in order to meet your experience as love, because that's all the world is your experience. The world doesn't actually exist in the way that we conceptualize it as existing as a thing out there, as an entity. It exists as you perceive it. In order to meet what is deeper than the perception, you're invited to strip it all back down to becoming a lover of what is. Becoming a lover of what is Doesn't mean you have to like what is happening, what you are seeing, what you are perceiving, what you are experiencing. It doesn't mean you have to agree with it or disagree with it. All of that continues to take place, but becoming a lover of what is, it brings it back down and inwards. It becomes very intimate. And what is more intimate than any perception? What is more intimate than any projection, any narrative you have about the world you are experiencing? What is more intimate? The invitation is to become a lover of what is primary. What is primary? And the very aliveness of you, the very beingness of you is primary. It's more intimate than the world you think exists out there. It's more intimate than any wave of feeling that arises in you. All of that comes and goes. It's more primary than any thought that arises. The invitation is to become a lover of the aliveness that is ever present. Don't color aliveness with ideas of what that means. Aliveness is a bare fact. Whether you are suffering or not suffering, whether you are heartbroken or not heartbroken, whether your world is falling apart or whether it's all coming together as you had imagined it to. Whether you are spiritual or unspiritual, whether you have attained enlightenment or are deeply unconscious, there is a bare fact, a bare reality that runs through all of that. And that is the bare fact of aliveness. Every single human being can sense aliveness, the fact that I am, the fact of my beingness. When I say the fact, it's not a mental fact. It's not a piece of knowledge. It's that which is known, the only that can be known. It's a felt sense, not a feeling that comes and goes, but the felt sense of I amness, that I am here, I am here, I am here. You're always here. You're never anywhere else. You always have been and you always will be. You haven't ever known yourself as anything other than that. When you come to recognize that, when you fall in love with that, the very fact of your here-ness, always, always, always here, here, whatever is happening or not happening, whatever your experience, whatever your perception, whatever world seems to be appearing before your eyes or disappearing before your eyes, fall in love. It's a love affair with this aliveness, this beingness. It's primary. You can also call it the love affair with God. It's not a God that is out there. It's the God of beingness. Yeah? God as beingness that includes everything. Then you will know love. Then you will meet the world as love. It's not a retreat from life. It's not a burying the head in the sand. It's not a turning away. It's not a submissiveness. On the contrary, you rise from this foundation, you rise as love and meet whatever experience the world is, and it's always changing. Yeah? You meet what is unfolding in that beingness that is always here. You meet it open, naked, present. There's no rejection. There's no attempt to transcend or run away or shrink. Because that which you are, the very fact of you as the I am, cannot be destroyed. Cannot be destroyed. You must know that. In your depth, you must know that. Has it ever been destroyed? Whatever's happened to you, whatever trauma has happened, whatever's been taken away from you, whatever's been destroyed, whatever's collapsed, whatever failure there has been, whatever suffering, whatever has been lost, money, relationship, job, home, has the I am ever been destroyed? Has it ever gone anywhere? You must know this. You must turn your attention to this over and over and over again. That's what love is. Love invites you to be a warrior. A warrior does not move from this. It's not the kind of warrior that comes from the ego self, that wants to overpower, that wants to destroy, from rage, from reactivity, from sense of self-righteousness. It doesn't matter how just or how right or how fair you think your actions are, or your feelings or your thoughts. If they come from a sense of self-righteousness, they are violent, and that is not true warriorship. True warriorship is being like a samurai. That is love. That is love in action. Love does not waver from the depth of I amness. You must know this. You must turn to this always. And then there is a possibility for true transformation in the world that we see.